Welcome to Photoshop User TV, brought to you by the National Association of Photoshop Professionals. And now, here are your hosts, the Photoshop Guys.
Hi everybody and welcome to another exciting episode, and by exciting I mean probably not, of Photoshop User TV, brought to you by Photoshop User Magazine. My name is Scott Kelby. I'm telling you that because I got a haircut and nobody will recognize me. I got this crazy haircut this morning. I got in a fight with the woman who was cutting my hair. We had this horrible argument. And
clearly
said,
you lost. No.
I know. She said, I'll fix you, mister. So, this is it.
No, it looks good.
No, it looks good. I told her, I said, this actually looks good. I got to get to a show. I called my office.
Somewhere where I can be live on
Is there anything I can be on? My hair actually looks good.
There's no bald spot in the back, so you're good.
Thank you, Corey, for pointing out there's no bald spot in the back. That's why there's no camera behind me. Hey, welcome everybody. We have got a great show for you. Dave Cross is here.
Hello.
Pete Collins.
Howdy.
The beautiful Pete Collins.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see what your tutorial is based on what I'm seeing on your screen.
I did that just for you.
That is good.
A little teaser.
And a man who is not in 2D but 3D, Mr. Corey Barker. I really wish I hadn't said that. Hey, we're going to start off with Dave Cross. Dave Cross has a quick tip for us, and it's a Photoshop tip, am I right?
Yes, it is.
This is good.
It's a Photoshop CS6 tip.
Ooh, I've got one of those today, too.
One of those nice little things that are small, but I like to call them small but important. Little change they made that just has made life easier. In the past, if I wanted to, let's just say I had, because I do, another photograph, and I thought, let's just drag this guy over here. And if I wanted to clip this so that it would only show inside the layers, in the past, I would have had to do one and then duplicate it because you could only clip two individual layers. Now, thankfully, I can just put these in a group, and now you can clip a layer to a group.
Isn't that nice?
And that's not all.
But there's more.
As Russell would say. But wait, there's more. The other nice change is now you can also add layer effects to everything inside the group. And what's neat about this, besides the fact that it's one quick step, is it's literally a group effect. So if I add a new layer and take my marquee tool and fill it with something, immediately that one has the same effect as well.
The drop shadow and
the clip
image clip
photograph. So it's just a nice quick way to be able to work so much faster than in the past.
It's very nice. They did a lot to layers.
They really did. There's a lot of stuff, and this is one of the things that didn't get perhaps as much as attention. But I've already had a couple of occasions where I thought, well, that's kind of nice to be able to keep the layers separate, but apply something in one step through a group.
No, it's very, very cool. Thank you, Dave.
My pleasure.
May I call you Dave?
I would love that.
Well, Dave, you know who's here with us today, Dave?
I do.
Mr. Pete Collins. Let's throw things over to Pete just because we can. Hi, Pete.
Hey, guys. Well, today, I'm not going to do that.
He's going to tell us what time
I'm going to tell us what time it is. Right now in Cupertino, it's 57 degrees. And I don't know what the heck happened there. There we go. We're back. As usual, I don't know what the heck's going on. And what this tip is that I am a collector of paper backgrounds of different paper types with different designs on it. And I know Corey uses them too for textures. And one of the things you forget about is to be able to use these paper backgrounds as actually textures to lay on top of your images. For instance, I've got this image here that I've created with this fish underwater, and it looks pretty good, but what I may want to do...
Stop right there. It looks pretty good?
It looks pretty good.
Okay.
For what I'm doing,
it
looks pretty good.
It looks great. It looks good. It looks great. I can't draw a stick man. I'm impressed by anything, so I was just messing with you because that's what I do.
That's in our clause, our contract. It says Scott has to pick on us at least 2 or 3 times a day. All right, and so what I've done here is I have created this is just simply a paper background that I've laid on top. And let me remove this over here so you can see. If I take out the... I have lost my dang little thing here. I know that's hard for you to imagine. I have added a layer mask to it that now allows me, let's say I want to go in and add layer mask. I will come in here. And guys, hold on just a second. I'm going to have to change my workflow. There we go. All right, so now I come in here, I add a layer mask, and I simply come over and add a gradient, because what I want to do is I want to pretend like this water is silty, but it's going from clear to silty, and that's a nice word for you there, silty. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag my gradient from the top down, holding my shift key to make sure that it's vertically straight. And what it's going to do is it's going to slowly appear like up top it's clear and down below it's silty. And you can do the same thing with multiple types of photographs to give you all these different looks to it. And I simply collect, and this is the tip for you here, tutorial here, collect a lot of different paper types because you can use them for both your design features when you're creating something with a paper background, but also come in here and think about what kind of textures and stuff are in these paper backgrounds, because they could become perfect textures and stuff for your pictures. You like how I said that very technically? Stuff for your pictures. So basically, the tutorial here is, don't just get locked into, I've got these great paper backgrounds that I can use for things. Think about how you can take them, throw them on top of things, apply an overlay or soft light layer style, and then use some of your masking to create a unique depth to it that you wouldn't have any other way.
Depth. And I must say, when I woke up this morning, I never thought I'd hear the word silty used in a tutorial.
Silty is an underused word in a big way. Hey, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we have some more stuff. I have a Photoshop CS6. 6, right?
Yeah.
6 trick. That's from my new CS6 book. So it's so new I don't even know it. Stick around. We'll be right back right here on Photoshop User TV.
Hey everybody, Tony Corbell. For me, it's always been about light control. It's light quality, light quantity, light direction. Think about the light tools that we have to work with. Sunlight, ambient light, portable flash, studio light. There's not one tool that is sort of everything to all pictures. You really do have to have a variety of light shaping tools. And in this case, we're going to look at several of them. If we can take those 4 tools of light and understand all the controls that we have, what we can do with our photography is unlimited. We can do anything that we want once we understand the foundation of our craft. I hope you'll tune in. We've got a lot more things in store for you here at KelbyTraining.com.
Show up there.
Hey, we're back.
We are back. Now, just before the break, now, 2 things happened. First of all, we started talking about Scott's book, and then this just magically delivered
Brad
to the
just
set.
walks in and goes, hey, your picture came in. So this is a picture I took down in Cuba. And I was in Cuba last weekend, just on vacation, just Cuba-ing. Let me find which camera we're showing here. There we go. So this is an MPix print. MPix, I did a talk about it. It's a free talk, by the way. You can go watch it. Where can they find it? How about if you go to my Google Plus page, go to scottgplus.com, and you'll have to scroll down a few days, but you'll found a thing called
Connecting with Cuba.
Connecting with Cuba. I want to say conversation with Cuba. It's Connecting with Cuba. And we did a nighttime thing where we basically just talked about the trip and about the photography and things. And so I was sending this image to MPix, and MPix heard I was sending this image. They gave an offer to all the viewers. I think it's already expired though, right? It expired like yesterday or something. Anyway.
Too late.
Maybe not. Maybe it's still on. I don't know. It was like a 5-day deal. But this is one of the images. And this was an image that I liked. The old cars are there. And I don't know why. No one ever pointed out this image. I put the whole book on my blog at scottkelby.com, the whole photo book I made. No one ever mentioned this image, but I don't know why I like this image. It's just, I like the cars in blue. You have a guy, in red on the inside, so I like the contrasting colors. You have a guy walking out this way. You have a guy looking this way. You have a guy looking that way. It's just a lot going on. But what drew me to the picture originally, which is no one will ever notice too, is the 2 hats in the back seat. There's 2 almost like Panama hats in the back seat. Anyway, Brad just handed it to me in the middle of the show. Thank you, Brad. But MPix had a cool deal, and it's probably over.
Well, I want to plug, if you haven't seen the Connecting with Cuba, it was a great episode. And the thing is, it changed kind of my thoughts about how Cuba was. There were a lot of things I was like, I didn't expect that.
Dude, I didn't. I went to Cuba, and I was stunned. What an amazingly beautiful, fun, vibrant. I was expecting like this horrible thing, and it was, I mean, because I've been to some places that were incredibly poor, and I was expecting to be just devastated by what I saw, and it was like,
and you said
it was like Miami Beach. It was like I was amazed. It was really, I was just, so we talk a little bit about that, but it was much different than what I was expecting. I was expecting a very different experience down there, and it was great. But for photography, it's photographer's paradise. Okay, so I'm going to do a tip, a lighting thing. This is it. So let me start by showing. So in Photoshop CS6, They've done a number of things and gone back and fixed some stupid things. Dave, pick one of the stupidest things in Photoshop.
Gosh, there's so many.
Where to begin?
I'm waiting to see what he's... Oh, lighting effects going away completely in CS5.
So yeah, they took lighting effects out. It was just gone. But what they brought it back, and they've done a new interface. It's tremendously better. What I used to complain about the lighting effects filter was you had this big filter box, this big, and a preview. I kid you not, this big. It was a postage stamp, and it was a really great filter. They took it away. They reworked the whole thing. They rethought the thing, and I think that this filter, if anything, gives you a sample of what the future of Photoshop's interface, how it will go.
Yeah.
So, and I'm saying this like you agree, but you do.
I do agree.
Wow, great. Okay.
Very much so.
All right. So we're going to relight this scene. So this scene is as I lit it, and I way grossly overlit it. So we're going to relight the scene After Effects to make it look real dramatic using lighting effects. So I usually will create an extra a copy of the background layer. And I'll show you why in a moment, because there's certain situations where this will really, really help you out. There's certain situations it'll actually look worse, but it doesn't hurt anything to create the second layer. Filter, render, and look, it's back, lighting effects. All right, so we're going to bring this up. And look, there's no pop-up window anymore. There's just this. Here, let me delete all this junk, because I'm going to show you how to create magic. All right, so here's what happens. When you open the dialog box, apparently it's sticky. You open the dialog box, it gives you this default. Let me show you the default one is I think, it's called default.
Good name for it.
Good name for it, all right? So when you open it, you usually see this and you're like, what do I do? Okay, but there's all these cool presets in here. Now, I'll just show you some of them, and when I say they're cool, some of them aren't. Gives you an idea. You're going to be using that one a lot, I'm sure. And triple spotlight is actually not too terribly bad. But it's basically lighting. Here's 3 lights down. There's the famous 5 lights down. But the one that I always go to, I always wind up using the exact same one because I think it's the very best one, is flashlight. So flashlight just gives you a little spot of light that you can click in the middle and move wherever you want it. And you can see it relights your photo. Now, I just want to give you a couple of things about this tool. So first is the green ring kind of shows you where your light is, the majority of your light is spilling. So it controls maybe the size of your light, if you want to call it that. If you move your cursor right over the green, watch it changes to yellow. And also a little pop-up heads-up display shows you the scale. So this is its default size. It will always be the size of the default, but you can make the spotlight smaller to make it more dramatic. So I can drag it right where I want it to light her. Now, there's a couple of controls that you would want to know. Number one is like if it's right over her face, it's a little harsh. So I'm just going to kind of pull it off a little bit. So we're feathering the light. You're feathering the light in Photoshop. Okay, so a couple things. First is the ambience. The ambience is really how dark is the rest of the photo. So this controls, if you really want it super small, this is not really so much affecting your light as it is the surrounding light. Your light is actually affected using something else. And you can go right in here. If you move your cursor, watch, right inside, you can control the intensity of the light. So I tend to keep the intensities actually very low. So I will put this one light here. Now that's super dramatic lighting. It's actually, I think, too dramatic. To add more lights, just go up here and click on the light. And then I want to shrink this in. Here we go. And we'll put this kind of over here. So now you've lit her face and you've lit here. And I'm going to add a third light. And I'm going to shrink it way down. Just drag, move it over down to her foot. Now you don't want her foot lit very well, so you're going to make it really small. And I want to make the actual size very small. So I'm going to shrink it in a little bit more. It's a little tricky, if you notice, Dave, like hitting that little thing sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard.
So we're going to light her foot. I just want it to be like a little light spilling out there. This one's actually still a little intense, so I'm going to click on the intensity. And then her face should be the brightest, but I'm still going to pull the intensity back just a little bit to give us this dramatic lighting that you saw when we first opened it here. Something like that. So you can position lights wherever you want. If you wanted to add another light someplace else, I don't know why you would. But you can add multiple lights. Hit that little yellow thing. And you could say, I want a light over here. Bing, you know.
Well, now, can you change the type of light? You don't have to just stick with the flashlights. If you
No, you can change different. There's a spot. There's an infinite light, which is more like the sun. If you wanted, like, I need sunlight, but it doesn't look like sunlight
I
ever.
love the fact they also have color options, so if you want to have it look like it's a gel light.
Well, that's why I wanted to show like the RGB. You can make them red, you can make it blue, you can make it green. So you could actually do a gelled effect here, and you can control these almost kind of like you do layers. Like you can turn them on and off based on the little eyeball. But we're going to go with this one right here. In fact, I don't even need this one. I'm just going to delete it using the old trash can of Rooney. When you click OK, it actually goes ahead and renders the light. Now, here's why I wanted to put it on its own layer. So there's before and there's after. So you can see it's much more dramatic. In fact, I have just a little bit of light spilling there. That actually one looks really, really good. This one looks kind of arbitrary. You're like, what's this one? Well, you're lighting her hip? That's not good. But there is a blend mode that in certain cases will work really, really well. And it doesn't always work. But it's darken. So I'm going to choose darken. And you can see how, look at her face. It had a hot spot in the middle. Watch the difference. Normal, right there. And then darken. It just kind of flattens that out a little bit. So most of the time when I do this, I put it on that extra layer. Here's you can see the final before and after. But it's a way to relight the image after the scene for like some dramatic lighting. But I think that would look really nice on like a car. If you shot a car outdoors, you want to kind of darken the ambient light, drop a light on the hood ornament, a light on the the wheel, and different places like that. So a little lighting effect, brand new in CS6. That's actually right from my book. That's a new technique in my new book.
And your book is called?
Dave, if you think I'm coming on this show and I'm going to mention my Photoshop CS6 book for digital photographers that you can pre-order right now from either Amazon or Barnes & Noble or any fine books are sold, that's not me. I'm not that guy. I don't do that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So,
well, since you're not going to talk about that, you do have a CS6 seminar tour coming up. So
yeah, I do. I launched it today. So I have a brand new tour that's going around the country. And it's on Photoshop CS6 for photographers. So it is a tour just all for photographers. Everything's focused on them. I have 5 classes. First class is my brand new 7-point system for camera raw. I've got a class on portrait retouching. But I'm doing the portrait retouching differently. I've identified 10 things that photographers need to know, because you can do portrait retouching. You could do 3 days of it. You could literally do. I just did 4.5 hours of it just on portrait retouching for Kelby Training Online. Just this week I taped that. It's not released yet, but I taped it. But you can do portrait retouching till the cows come home. So I thought, what are the 10 things photographers need to know the most? I did that. I've got a down and dirty tricks for photographers, which includes how to get HDR, because I know a lot of people don't like HDR. How to get HDR where people look at it and go, is that HDR? Because I hate HDR. Is that HDR? Because I don't hate that. So I've got that. I've got a whole segment on the new DSLR video. The DSLR video stuff in Photoshop CS6, it changes everything. I think it's going to revolutionize, because it's just what we need. I don't want to learn a whole other program. I don't have time to learn Final Cut Pro. I don't have time to learn Premiere Pro. I don't have the time to learn anything with the word Pro in it. I only have time to learn Photoshop, and I can barely learn that. They added this thing in there that lets you use all your favorite Photoshop tools, but you can just drag and drop. I need a movie. I need a slide. I need a movie. I need a slide. I need to add some music, and I'm done. It's brilliant. I did a test of the tour here at our headquarters. That was their favorite thing of the day. I got a class on Photoshop Killer Tips, which is doing everything faster, better, quicker. And then lastly, I do before and afters. I start off, here's the after image. I sadly have to show you the original raw out of the camera photo. I think if you do the whole process from beginning to end to teach you basically a workflow to go all the way through. So it launches, it's in Sacramento on July 18th, I think it is. So Sacramento, I haven't been to Sacramento in years. And then another place I haven't been in years, Nashville, Tennessee, which I love Nashville. I'm going there next. Then I'm in New York and another place.
But if you go right there to Kelby Training Live, you can find all the details.
I'm in Philadelphia on July 27th. Yeah, go to KelbyTrainingLive.com. And I hope to see you on the tour. It's $99 for the day. Cheap. If you're a NAT member, it's even cheaper. It's like $79. And you get a workbook and you get a hug. So,
well, that's good. Worth it alone. Mr. Barker, you have a quick tip for us,
Rooney.
I believe.
And it's Scott's favorite subject, 3D.
3D?
3D indeed.
You never do 3D.
I never do 3D, but today I am.
You should consider it.
Today is 3D. Now, I actually got a quick little tip for 3D, and it's one thing that's new to CS6. And really, one of the things that really changes the game with 3D in Photoshop is the ability to go back and edit a really involved 3D object after it's created. Here I have this graphic that I created. It's just some text on a surface, and I've got actually kind of a cool lighting effect going on here using image-based lights, but that's another tutorial. What I'm going to talk about here
It is, because that's really involved.
But that's another
story.
For another day.
No, so what I want to do is, let's say I'm at this point in this 3D object and everything's looking pretty good, but I'm thinking, oh, there's something about the text or the logo I want to change. Well, previously in CS5, you would have had to go back and start all over again. If you got to a point like, so let's just say, for instance, I wanted to have this little line under the word vintage and actually fuse it with the V, actually make it one unit. Well, I would have to go, like I said previously, I'd have to go back and start all over again and recreate the 3D object from scratch. This is what discouraged a lot of people, is that you could get to a certain point with 3D, but then you had to live with it. Otherwise, you'd have to go all the way back to the beginning. But here in CS6, all you have to do is go into your 3D panel, select the line item for that particular object, which in this case is that text. And in here in the Properties panel, we have a button for Edit Source. If I go in there, it opens up that original document that I created the 3D object from, and you can see there is the original vector paths. All I have to do is go and get my direct selection tool here. I'm just going to grab the end of this box here, drag it over here. And let's just make sure it's set to the right type of combined shapes. And I'm going to select both of those. Go into the little pop-up menu. They no longer have the icons running along the top option bar. It's actually a little menu you pop down for all those Pathfinder properties. And I'm just going to go over here and choose Merge Shape Components. You see it fuses those two elements together now. When I close this document and save the changes, it will update the 3D object. I'll just do a quick render, and now I've saved all that time of having to go and redo that all over again. So, and this is something I've said about 3D and CS6, is that you can be that much more adventurous because it's that much more forgiving. You can edit it as you go like that. And this was unheard of in CS5, and this is just one of those huge leaps forward for 3D, I think. So
That's pretty cool.
I love it.
That's great.
Yep.
That's actually good.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Dave, what do you think we should do next?
I think we should take a break, and you people out there should watch this little promotion for this lovely thing we like to call Photoshop World.
You people.
You
people like
there.
you call them you
I know,
people.
you people. You folks.
people.
You friends of ours. All
That's
y'all
better.
out there.
That's good.
Watch this, won't you? Watch this.
Please, watch it twice. Tape it.
Watch me.
We are back with Mr. Dave Cross,
Hello again.
Petey Collins,
Howdy, howdy.
Mr. Corey 3D Barker.
Hello.
What did you say?
I said hello.
Oh, I thought you said yo. I'm like, oh, he's gone
That
free.
too. Yeah.
All right. Hey, Photoshop World. So we're all teaching there, of course. You know, everybody's teaching there. But I'm doing 3 classes. I'm doing one called Lightroom Killer Tips, which is updated for Lightroom 4, of course. I'm doing a Light It, Shoot It, Retouch It, 1-hour class with 3 different lighting looks and the whole retouching thing. And then I'm doing a brand new class on sports photography. So not a Photoshop one, but just on shooting sports, tips for shooting sports. What are you teaching?
I've got class Mastering Smart Objects, which I always like to
didn't
do.
see that coming.
Habits of Successful Photoshop Users, just good work habits. New one, Photoshop CS6 Tips and
their
Tricks.
work habits. I thought it was like habits, like smoking, drinking,
yeah, work habits.
shoplifting.
Yeah. Well, that too, but and then customizing Photoshop presets and workspaces and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's good.
Make your life simpler.
Pete, what are you teaching?
I've got a class, Photoshop for Beginners, a class talking about storyboarding, taking your idea from the beginning to the end, and then compositing.
Oh, good, good, good.
Yep.
Corey, let me guess.
Please.
You're talking about love.
Love.
And photography.
I'm actually having a self-esteem seminar at Photoshop. No, I actually I'm of course doing a 3D class, and kind of taking it a step further. It's called What You Can Really Do with 3D in Photoshop. You know, I've been teaching a lot of the basic stuff, but here's what you can really do with 3D in Photoshop. I've of course got a down and dirty tricks for designers, based on my book. No, I don't have a copy here.
Remember we used to do that in the old days? We'd hold it up and the video team would have to go put a book in there.
And
they love that.
And I've got a Hollywood effects class, of course, and I've got a pre-con. I'm doing channels and masking pre-con as well.
Really?
So,
Wow.
Yes.
Dude, you're working hard.
I am.
Hey, your 3D stuff, I know I tease you about it, but your 3D stuff, every time I watch you do a 3D tutorial, it makes me think, I should be doing some 3D stuff.
It's fun, and especially in CS6, it's that much more fun now.
And the way you teach it too, I mean, you make it really understandable, which is probably why you got a job here. But no, it's just every time I see you do something, I'm like, dude, I should be doing some of that stuff. It's just, I don't have time.
I mean, with each new version,
I wish I
it's
did.
that much more fun. I'm really enjoying it.
Well, it is great the way 3D has evolved, right? Because it was like when they first brought it in there, it was kind of like, well, you have to be you have to be deep in 3D to use it.
Right.
And then it keeps getting more accessible and more accessible every one.
Absolutely, yeah. Like the video, like you're saying with the video, it's that much more accessible because it's kind of stripped down to what you really need. And it's that much easier to learn.
Yeah, because they had video in CS5 too, but you had to almost be a video shark to use it, and all of a sudden now it's like open to everybody.
And an interesting point, it was only an extended a video.
That's right, it was. You're right, the video features are only in CS5 extended, and now they've moved those over to the regular version, so you don't have to buy the extended version. Hey, we got a prize or something?
We do. We have a nice little prize pack from On1 Software, Perfect Effects 3, Perfect Layers 2, and Perfect Mask 5. So a nice little 3-disc combination prize from On1 Software.
How do they win, Dave?
They just have to go to Kelby TV, to photo wherever it says the name of the show, and there's a comment thing. If you leave a comment for us, there's a link there for you. Maybe make a suggestion of a tutorial or whatever you like. Just leave a comment, and some lucky person will be randomly drawn and will win this stuff.
Hey, can I say something about Perfect Effects 3, just unsolicited here? So I'm using this now. And they've got some really nice tonal looks in there. They've got one called Tonal Contrast, which is they're preset under effects. But if you go back 3 or 4, there's one that it's the same look, but like hyper. But anyway, what's nice, it gives you previews of everything right down the bottom. But check, Perfect Effects 3 is pretty. I hope you win it because you'll love it. You'll use it. You'll love it. You 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 want to have it. You want to tell your friends about it. You're going to love it. You love it. You love it. You love it.
Well said. I don't think there's anything more to be said after that.
Well, folks, we got to go. I'd like to say on behalf of my friend here, Dave Cross.
Bye, y'all.
Pete Collins over there.
Yeehaw.
Corey Yeehaw Barker.
See y'all later.
Myself, Scout Kebby. Everybody here in Pinellas County and Hillsborough County. I'd like to tell you guys, hope to catch us next week right here on the show. Take care, everybody. Tonight, Dave.